Hi there, this is Fixed It. This is a friend's Wii U. It took some damage around about Christmas time. You'll notice from this that this is the outer edge. Obviously this is the dirty bit. And this is the touch screen, and it's got this surround around the outside that basically locks into the frame and protects it, or at least protects the edge. And I just need to check to see whether or not the one I bought actually comes with that. Quite often they don't. And also on the back there's this soft rubber material, which I assume is for taking some of the shock. If it does get hit, it'll kind of act like a sponge, and I need to remove that if it isn't already available on the one that I bought. So this is the screen, and I must say I'm really pleased to discover that it actually came with a rubber on the back. That's actually a good sign, a very good sign. And this is the touchpad, but the touchpad doesn't actually come with that plastic outer edging. So what I'm going to need to do is to warm up the glue that's underneath that strip around the outside, and then I'm going to lift it off and try not to break it. As there's no point in saving this, I'm going to use a heat gun. And that should start to lift quite easily once it gets warm. Is it lifting? There we go. It's quite strong glue, I must admit. Don't assume that it is disconnected and just go to pull. You'll snap the plastic. Keep working it until such time as it is all off and in one piece, like that. Okay, so that'll need to be cleaned up. The easiest way to get this adhesive off is just to hold it tightly and roll it with your thumb along the edge. And as you see, it'll roll into a ball as you go. Same along the other edge. Just get it started and then roll it. Keep it underneath your finger and thumb all the time. Don't go too far, because otherwise if you go any further you'll push it forward and you'll snap the plastic. There we go. And now the last bit here, I think. Again, just roll it out. And now we've rolled off the plastic, we can clean that up with some alcohol. What I'm going to do is to just put that in place. So before you take the sticky side off the screen, place it back in and make sure it's facing in the right direction, because if you put it in and it isn't, you're going to have a bit of a problem with the rest of the reconstruction. Actually, there's no glue around this edge to stick onto the white plate underneath, which I was planning to do. The other thing is, if you try and glue that directly onto this screen and you don't get it in exactly the right place, when you try and put this panel with these edges back in here, you may find that it won't sit properly, and then getting that screen back off here once it's glued would be a major nightmare. So I'm actually not going to try and do that. Let's slide this in, just make sure none of the items are getting in the way. That looks absolutely fine. Okay, so make sure I've got all of the things in the right place. So what I'm going to do now is to put the plastic frame back in and hold that in place. For the plastic frame, these two need to go through that hole. This is always the fiddly bit, but do not under any circumstances rush it, because if you do, you will damage something and it will no longer work at all. Make sure those cables are free, those cables are free. That cable is free, that one's free, that one's free, that one's okay, that one's in place. And now what we need to do is to screw the frame down. So I need the 4 screws from the frame. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is to get this black cable in place. And it came out of the slot there. So let's get it in that slot. And then the cable went around this loop here and then into that groove now we've got the volume control to go in, and that slots in down there. Okay, so that's nicely in place, and now what we need to do is to position the board with these two cables through that slot in order to get it fully in place. Okay, here's a tip. Find a piece of card. I've got this bit from the merge cube, and just tease that in. Where's the little one? Come on, little one, where are you? If I get the little one in, pass something through and flick it up, and lo and behold, it's beginning to show its head. But as we can see from the corner here, some of these are not playing ball, so let's get that one almost in place. This one and this one almost in place. This one under here needs to come out and on top. And now, as long as I can keep that one out of the way, I think we might be onto a winner. Let's just try and get this in. Don't force it down. If you have to force it, it's not working. As can occur sometimes with these fixes, the manufacturer has put a really thick piece on the end of this cable, and it will no longer go into that socket. So what I'm going to have to do is to gently file some of that plastic off till it's the right size to go inside that socket, and it's not going to be an easy job, and it's going to take time, but if I try and rush it, I'm going to end up destroying the cable or destroying the socket. So don't always assume that when you buy the parts that they're actually going to be fully compatible with your machine, because as with this case, this is just too big, and I also need to file down a bit on either side and on the top, and I've slotted it in. I don't know how far it's gone, and it's difficult to tell. I'll obviously test to make sure the touch screen's working, and if it isn't, then I'll lift this cable off again and file down some more. Now we just need to do these screws. So now we want to put each of these connectors back in place. So this one needs to go in here. That's that one in. That's that one in. Push that back down. Okay, that's in. These things are never easy. This one on this side. And there we have it. We had a little piece of plastic sticking out of one side, which made it easier to locate. I couldn't do it on camera because I was fiddling about too much. I just want to realign this long one just to make sure it isn't actually catching on anything. This piece here, that's that one in. So the first thing to do is to put the switches back in place and close the enclosure. When I've tested all this, I'll actually just clean it all up. And now let's put the pads in place as well. And they just slot down here in the sides. Move this over so you can see the other side as well. And you can feel, yeah, they're working. And now what I need to do is to put the case back on, but of course I need to make sure I plug this one back in. These things never get easier. No matter how many times you do it, it is always problematic. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just put a couple of screws in just to make sure it doesn't fall apart on me and break itself in the process when I pick it up and undo all the hard work. So let's connect the battery. Power on the unit. Really good to see the screen. Hopefully it's not going to come up with any message. And I'm just hoping the touch screen works first time. It's currently activating my television on the other side of the room.
Their first stick shift in the same.
Okay, so I'll just open this up again slightly and clean up the inside, but I'm really pleased. Wii U repaired and working. The boys are going to be very, very happy and hopefully won't break it again. With regards to this piece, which obviously moves, if it becomes a problem, then I'll put a couple of drops of glue in the corners just to stop it moving, but at the moment it's absolutely fine and everything is good. So that's how to fix a Wii console. So that's how to replace the LCD and touch panel on a Wii U console. I'll put a link to some parts in the video description. Please subscribe to my channel. I hope you like the video. Thanks for watching and goodbye.